Well, we'd like to officially welcome everyone again to another Mikey Live program. And folks, this is where it all happens. We are talking about the good, we are talking about the bad, and we are talking about the Mikey. And of course, folks, this is news discussed, not told. We do not have a horse in the race, so we're telling you as it is, whether you like it or not. It's the facts that we are interested in. Now, let's take a look at what's making the news for tonight. Grenada's under 20 footballers to play their third game in the Concacaf Championship Qualifiers. Latest COVID-19 report shows no deaths and no new positive cases. No, that was... why did I pull that up? In fact, we had two persons dying recently, and of course we have some positive cases. So that is my error in the headline there. I do not know how that got there, but we will fix that. All right. And CMO says that we have to learn to live with COVID-19, and Grenada to remove the 48-hour mandatory quarantine for vaccinated travelers. We'll talk more about that. And visitor arrival, they say, to Grenada steadily increasing. And the World Health Organization, by their warning of a massive syringe shortfall in 2022, something to look at. Homicide toll reaches 59 in St. Lucia with the killing of a popular photographer. And Pfizer asks the FDA to okay COVID-19 booster shots for all adults. So these are some of the stories that we'll be looking at in tonight's program. And we'd like to say thank you again for watching. The people who are here with us for the first time, we would like to say hello to you. And of course, may God bless you. I do hope that you had a good day. Now, here's what. If you have not yet done so, we'd like to encourage you to please go ahead and share the program. You see, when you share the program, that's how other people get to know that we are live. So as we usually say every night, y'all go ahead and share the business. All right. Now, the people in Trinidad, boy, they say that they have a large contingent of people watching out there in Trinidad, so we want to say hello to you as well. They say they have a big screen that they look at the program every night, so big up all yourself. And I mean, so family members, we're taking that break and come back shortly. We got to let you know that the headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of course Grenada Limited, Digicel, Nawasa, the Housing Authority of Grenada, Real Value IGA Supermarket, and of course we want to say thank you to superb distributors also on board with us. We're taking a break and we'll be back shortly. And again, if you have not yet done so, please share the business.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
Rich, smooth, delicious, and packed with vitamins that could only be one thing. It's a Rika almond beverage. Great on its own or a lovely addition to smoothies. So call superb distributors on 435-2948 or visit us at Tempe St. George's today. Remember, Rika is life and life is Rika.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, easy. Yeah.
Boy, line boy, your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call 440-1015 or 440-1016, or check out their website hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess and Klein and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
Long ago, the strength of Grenadians was in their arms as they worked the lands to get food for the table. Nowadays, most Grenadians' plate is packed with lots of starch and meat, little or no vegetables, plenty fried foods, and they wash that down with something sweet while sitting in front of screen. Hard work and exercise seem to be out of style, and lifestyle diseases are becoming the fashion of the day and claiming many lives. Let's make a change to live longer. Let us grow and enjoy a variety of natural and safe, fresh vegetables and fruits every day. Use our local fresh seasoning and spices to make our traditional dishes healthier and avoid highly processed foods, snacks, and drinks. Drink more water every day to help your body function better. Get moving every day and trade some screen time to share and enjoy healthy family meals. Choose healthy foods and healthy lifestyle. Follow the healthy choices for healthy living guidelines for Grenadians.
The mobile app brings the power of Nawasa's customer service experience to you. With the new Nawasa mobile app, your entire access to your Nawasa account is at your reach. Instantly mobile, conversational, and smart. Easy access anywhere. Easy access by phone or on your computer, mobile.nawasa.gd offers a secure login platform through the touch of a button. Get access to all your account insights including overdue amounts, transaction history for up to 6 months, report a fault, link to website, view payment centers, contact information, push notifications, and multi-tenant accounts. Like a self-service concierge app, mobile.nawasa.gd gets you the support you need much faster. Available on both Android and iOS platforms. Mobile.nawasa.gd, your customer support companion.
All right, so again, welcome to another Mikey Live program. Well, I was just telling you that we were supposed to play our third game, and the game has just ended. We are talking about the under 20 boys in the Concacaf under 20 boys championship. Grenada just won its game against the British Virgin Islands 4-0. Now that means that Grenada has won 3 games. Three. Yeah, well, we have won all our 3 games. The 3 games that we played, 3-3. You understand? Which is really good. 3 games, 3 wins. That gives us 9 points. So we are pretty. All right. So again, congratulations to the team. We're looking well. We mean business. Here's a notice coming out to you from Nawasa, advising consumers in Tivoli through to Dunfermline Conference, Pearls and surrounding communities in the parish of St. Andrew that in order to facilitate repairs to a damaged water main, you will experience an interruption in your water supply 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. That's tomorrow, God's willing. Now, consumers, you are therefore encouraged to collect and store water in clean covered containers prior to the interruption of your supply. All right. And they're saying that, although the system is going to be restored by 2 p.m., consumers in elevated areas, you may receive your supply within 2 hours thereafter. All right. And so they say that they like to apologize for any inconveniences likely to be caused as a result of this. And there's another notice for you, and this one is coming out to you from the police. The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force would like to advise residents in the Pearls St. Andrew area that there will be a theoretical exam on Wednesday, 10th November 2021 at 8 a.m. at the Progress Park Pavilion, Telescope St. Andrew. Now, the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force hereby advises residents in the parish of St. Andrew that there will be a theoretical exam Wednesday. I think they are meeting twice. And look at me reading like a jubilee. So anyway, please be guided accordingly. All right. We only what's breaking the internet. I see I'm talking about no kind of business on my program tonight. You know what? Let me go on. Let me do that business right now. Jesus. Let's go. Now, let's talk about only what's breaking the internet. I had to get back into that, I find I get boring, we used to have some real fun times, but some people, they don't have a sense of humor. So, Mikey, but I find I had to go back into what's breaking the internet, just to loosen up and lighten up a little bit. After a hard day, your boss on the day, in your head all day. You maybe have a co-worker or somebody only nagging in your head. When you come on the program, you want that like a vibe. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me that talk. I don't really want to talk about what's breaking the internet right now because I don't really want to get into that right. Maybe later on, if I'm in the mood. After we were telling you, as it relates to the COVID-19 numbers. Now, folks, the cases are going down in terms of the positive cases, right? After the past several days of a rather favorable COVID-19 report with no losses of lives and all of that, we have lost 2 persons, all right, within the last 24 hours. So that was with regards to the last report that we had from the Ministry of Health, the dashboard, according to the dashboard, 2 persons died yesterday due to COVID-19. Now that takes our COVID-19 death toll to 200. You understand? There were 262 tests that were conducted yesterday. All right, and in terms of recoveries, there were 4 new recoveries. In terms of the confirmed cases cumulatively, we are up to 5,863. All right, and we have had cumulative recoveries of 5,580. All right. There were also 2 new cases of COVID-19 that was detected as well. 3 persons currently hospitalized. Positivity rate 0.8. So that is still really good, in terms of the overall numbers. Vaccination, 32,709 are fully vaccinated, and in terms of partially vaccinated, 6,331. Earlier, according to the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sean Charles, nothing much has changed within the last week from the last time we heard them on the post-cabinet briefing. But what he says is that we're going to have to start learning to live with COVID-19.
Now, with regards to the epidemiological situation in Grenada, not much has changed when you compare the last few days, or not much has changed between this and the last press conference. We continue to have sporadic cases, and we continue to have very low positivity rate. The number of persons that are hospitalized as well has dropped significantly. In fact, as of our last report yesterday, there are 3 persons hospitalized for COVID-19. Our deaths have as well have been sporadic. There have been days when we've experienced no deaths, and then there have been those when we got maybe 1 or 2. Yesterday we had 1. We anticipate that this situation will continue for some time, because remember, as stated in previous press conferences and announcements, we have now entered the stage where we have endemic spread or low level spread of the disease in the community. We have entered the stage where we have to coexist with the disease. We have to live with it. It's going to be here with us for some time, and we have to adjust our lives around it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sean Charles. And I know he said that there were 1 death, but according to the dashboard, as we said, the dashboard said that there were 2 deaths yesterday. So probably it could be a late reporting or something to that effect. All right, good. We are moving on. Now, the next thing that we have to tell you about, Grenada is about to remove the 48-hour mandatory quarantine requirement, all right, for persons who are vaccinated. Oh, Jesus. Anyway. So yes, so Grenada is about to remove the 48-hour mandatory quarantine requirement for vaccinated travelers. So in other words, if you are coming to Grenada, arrived with a negative PCR test, and you are fully vaccinated, you are not required to quarantine for 48 hours.
Because yes, we are moving to do away with quarantine, but one for fully vaccinated persons. Those who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, the Ministry of Health, of course, will direct on that path, but no changes have been recommended on that side. We probably would have liked to make it with immediate effect. However, there are certain steps that must be taken. So, for example, the regulations must be changed because we are under a different kind of regulations, and legally we need to address that. Also, there are 1 or 2 little issues that need to be ironed out as to how we're going to do things, because we always have to be cautious about certain things. But the plan is to do away with quarantine for fully vaccinated persons, and within a week from now, that will happen. So, in persons who are depending on that to make the decisions, we will give you the date very shortly. But most likely it will be, should I say what is most likely? We are planning to change it as of Monday. So today being Tuesday, within a week, that will be done, and all the structures that need to be put in place for that change will be affected.
Thank you very much. And I do hope that we're also going to take a look at what's going to be happening, whether or not there's a plan for the entertainment industry, because I know that the people who've been having shows and so on, and those with the entertainment venues and so on, would like to know whether or not, what sort of plan, immediate or in the distant future or not too distant future, what's going to happen with regard to them, because there seems to be a lot of movement in a lot of the other areas, but I'm not hearing anything much, so I'm just putting that out there, to see what's going to be happening with regard to entertainment as well. But what they are saying here is that the visitor arrivals and interest for persons wanting to come to Grenada, it is steadily increasing.
So where are we in terms of stayover passengers? The numbers have been growing steadily. Our flights have been increasing, and so we have our traditional friends. American Airlines has gone daily, or certainly from the 1st of December, it will be daily flights from Miami, and also from Charlotte. They are starting back that flights. Persons would recall that this was something that was instituted just in the pre-COVID times, and that will resume. Air Canada has certainly started, and we're happy for that. It's coming in twice weekly. Our good old friends Virgin and BA, they continue the twice weekly calls, and Inter-Caribbean has been really a good friend in serving us over the past months. There might be the odd other flights here and there, but these are the regular ones. And so we expect to see an uptick in the number of passengers coming in, but the flights are pretty full. Air Canada is coming in pretty full, and we hope that will continue, and that this is not just a backlog from persons who have been waiting. And therefore, I believe that the removal of the quarantine requirement for fully vaccinated persons will certainly make a difference, because in the industry, sometimes people come for 2 days, they come for a weekend. And if you have 2 days in quarantine, then, it's a waste of time. And even if you have 1 week, to lose 2 days, when you could be up in Grenada Town or on Grandans Beach or something, that again is not good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clarice Modeste Cohen, the Minister for Tourism. All right. And so yesterday we were also telling you that we are expecting within the next 6 months about 200 cruise calls to Grenada. The first cruise ship arrived here after months of not coming to Grenada today, and there are many more that are scheduled to berth here within the next few days and weeks. We are moving on. What else do we have to tell all you boys? How we looking? What's breaking the internet? I say I'll get some trouble tonight, eh? Well, let me leave that talk. What I say, let me leave that talk. Yeah, let me leave that talk. Now, the World Health Organization warned on Tuesday there could be shortfall of up to 2 billion syringes in 2022, which threatens to hamper vaccine efforts globally in production if the production does not improve. All right. Now, these shortages are the result of COVID-19 vaccine campaigns, with billions more syringes than normal being used worldwide, badly denting global supplies. All right. So I hope. That's one of the things I'm saying. I hope that in our effort to fix something, that we don't, derail other things, that puts us in a better position in one place and in a bad position in another. Yeah? Anyway, then you're going to hear that now they're going to be using the tablet, so syringes will not be. This is like going to be a never-ending thing. You wait and see. It's going to be never ending. Yeah? Anyway, lately that dog. So, also, Pfizer has asked the U.S. regulators on Tuesday to allow boosters of its COVID-19 vaccine for anyone 18 or older, a step that comes amid concern about increased spread of the coronavirus with holiday travel and gatherings. So they're saying that older Americans and other groups particularly vulnerable to the virus have had access to third doses of the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine since September. But the Food and Drug Administration has said it will move quickly to expand boosters to younger ages if warranted. All right, and I know even here they are talking about booster shots as well. Yes, for persons who have been vaccinated for more than 6 months and may have some sort of condition, so the elderly and persons with non-communicable diseases or people with other comorbidities and so on. They're recommending a booster shot for that, but we do not have that among the vaccines yet to be able to start to have a strict policy on booster shots. Yes, they're also, for those of you who missed it, they're also recommending that persons can make use of a different vaccine as their second dose. Earlier, a couple months ago, it was something that they had not enough information on and was not recommending. I think we had one virologist on the program who said that they do not have data to support whether or not that's actually effective. However, months later, they are saying that based on what they are seeing, they are in a position to now recommend that if you've had a first dose of one vaccine and you want to have a second dose in another, then it is absolutely fine to so do. And again, the authorities here are recommending that as well. Now, despite the fact that there's a pandemic, despite the fact that our lives have been disrupted in so many different ways here in the Caribbean, some of these islands are continuing to experience some social ills. For example, here we have high instances of attempted or suicide in general. In St. Lucia, they are experiencing homicides as usual, but one would think that during a pandemic that will change. However, imagine the homicide toll in St. Lucia now reaches 59 following the killing of a popular photographer there.
The only thing I have to tell the shooters and the killers, whatever they do, they must be fight. They must be fight. I will not go take the law into my own hand. But if I have to drum the sea and go to Haiti and do what I have to do, but both of them, if it's one that pay to kill him, though the one that shoot and the one that set the plot, both of them have to pay the price.
The family of a young photographer is in shock, and the father of the slain man wants answers. Tervel Gabriel, 24, was on a sofa in his home playing video games on his mobile telephone when the fatal shooting occurred. His father, Gregory Gabriel, says moments before the incident, he was in the company of his son and went to bed when he heard loud noises coming from inside his home.
Once I lie down there, I just in the side of the house, bo, 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 bo. So when I hear that, I just run. I just leave the bed and I run. When I reach in the living room, he tell me, Daddy, I love you, but Daddy, somebody just shoot me there. So I tell him, when they shoot you, I not see no mark, I ain't seen nothing. He tell me, Daddy, I don't know. So I start searching. When I search, I see some little blood start running on the side.
Emergency personnel was summoned to the scene within minutes. The incident occurred at Balata, Castries.
Emergency personnel at the Barbono Fire Station on Monday, November 8th at approximately 10:25 p.m. responded to a call relating to an alleged shooting incident at Balata. Responders were led to a residential structure where one male individual was found unresponsive. He was assessed and it was revealed that he sustained several penetrating wounds to his body. With the absence of vital signs, CPR was immediately initiated while his wounds were treated. The patient was provided rapid emergency transportation, during which his condition remained unchanged. He was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner at the OKEU hospital.
The father says that the door to his home is usually ajar, and that's why he believes someone creeped up behind his son and shot him multiple times. The father says he doesn't know why someone would want to kill his son, but arrived at his own theories.
He's not a troublesome guy or any person that can have any problem with anybody. As I say, it's three things I can point at. It's either he maybe was checking because he's photographing already girls. He's a young boy, he's a cute boy, and he's a handsome boy, so everybody will be at him. So I don't know if it's that caused the problem. I don't know if somebody was jealous of his work that killed him, or I don't know if it's something he see and maybe he never told me, but I don't know if it's something he see and maybe they come and target him and kill him because of that.
Family members have been plunged into mourning following the incident.
And my father called me and told me that my brother was shot. I don't know my brother to be like any bad person or being in any gang or anything like that. My brother was always a fun person to be around. He always like entertaining people, especially us at home. Yeah, that's just basically it. Whoever it is, whoever did it, I just want justice, and I want them to pay for it real bad. Because at the end of the day, I'm seeing I didn't see the purpose for that at all. I mean honest, because I never knew my brother to be like someone who would just interfere with people or anything like that. He was always a fun person to be around.
His cousin says Tavel was a very fun-loving individual.
Tavel was a fun-loving person. He was a very easygoing person. He wouldn't talk much. Whenever Tavel would come around, it would just be fun times, and that's basically it. He was a more goal-oriented person. He wasn't he wasn't really involved in any criminal activities or anything as such.
Tavel Gabriel was the second of 4 siblings. Family members say Tavel was raised and cared for by his father from the age of 11 months. Tavel was also a former media worker, having been employed with HDS and Hot 7 TV stations. His photography career was on the rise, with Tavel being highly respected by his peers and clients. The community of Balata, as a result of the fatal shooting, has been plunged into mourning. The murder of Tavel Gabriel pushed the homicide toll to 59 on Monday, November 8th. Cecil Actil, NBC Prime.
Thank you very much, Cecile. And that story takes us to the end of this segment. We take a break, and when we return, we have for you the national report and the weather.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Free delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
Rich, smooth, delicious, and packed with vitamins that could only be one thing. It's Rika Almond Beverage. Great on its own or a lovely addition to smoothies. So call Superb Distributors on 435-2948 or visit us at Tempe St. George's today. Remember, Rika is life and life is Rika.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call 440-1015 or 440-1016 or check out their website hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess and Klein and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
The mobile app brings the power of Nawasa's customer service experience to you. With the new Nawasa mobile app, your entire access to your Nawasa account is at your reach. Instantly mobile, conversational, and smart. Easy access anywhere. Easy access by phone or on your computer, mobile.nawasa.gd offers a secure login platform through the touch of a button. Get access to all your account insights including overdue amounts, transaction history for up to 6 months, report a fault, link to website, view payment centers, contact information, push notifications, and multi-tenant accounts. Like a self-service concierge app, mobile.nawasa.gd gets you the support you need much faster. Available on both Android and iOS platforms. Mobile.nawasa.gd, your customer support companion.
Welcome to Yogo. Most of you know us for our food delivery service and our food pass for free delivery from restaurants. But did you know you can also use us for grocery deliveries too? We've just added another 5,000 plus new items to Yogo's supermarket. And stay updated as we add more products and vendors. Yogo Services is our convenient skip the line offering. Let us pay your electric, water, and other utility bills for you. With us, you will be able to buy tickets, pay your rent, schedule bookings, and other services. Need a ride to get somewhere? Give Yogo Lyft a try. Select your pickup location and destination location and wait for our driver to collect you. Never have to worry about how you're gonna get to a place again. Please see website or app for our service locations. And sign up now.
Government to remove 48-hour quarantine for fully vaccinated individuals entering the country. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, I am Chrisanne Mitchell. The government of Grenada plans to remove the 48-hour quarantine for fully vaccinated arriving passengers to this country, and this could take effect as early as next week, Monday. That announcement was made by Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen, Minister for Tourism, Civil Aviation and Climate Resilience, during the weekly post-cabinet press briefing on Tuesday. It comes as Grenada continues to record an encouraging drop in the COVID-19 positivity rate. According to data from the Ministry of Health's COVID-19 dashboard from Monday, November 8th, there are now 83 confirmed cases on island, 3 of which are hospitalized. Currently, fully vaccinated arriving passengers to Grenada are required to present a negative PCR test and quarantine for 48 hours pending the outcome of a PCR test taken on arrival.
We are moving to do away with quarantine, but one for fully vaccinated persons. Those who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, the Ministry of Health, of course, will direct on that path, but no changes have been recommended on that side. We probably would have liked to make it with immediate effect. However, there are certain steps that must be taken. So, for example, the regulations must be changed because we are under a different kind of regulations, and legally we need to address that. Also, there are one or two little issues that need to be ironed out as to how we're going to do things, because we always have to be cautious about certain things. But the plan is to do away with quarantine for fully vaccinated persons, and within a week from now, that will happen. So, in persons who are depending on that to make the decisions, we will give you the date very shortly, but most likely it will be, should I say what is most likely? We are planning to change it as of Monday. So today being Tuesday, within a week, that would be done, and all the structures that need to be put in place for that change will be affected.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles says to facilitate the change to the existing protocols, the team at the Ministry of Health is updating its travel entry process.
The travel authorization form, and this is our plan, the travel authorization form will be replaced by a health declaration form, which would be much less, maybe half a page, where persons just have to tick some boxes, and that is it. All right. So this is what is being worked on. There will be testing conducted at the airport.
Grenada welcomed the first cruise ship, Royal Clipper, on Tuesday following a one-year closure of the industry due to COVID-19. The cruise line is the first of over 200 cruise calls that will be made from November 2021 into May 2022. Tourism and Civil Aviation Minister Honorable Clarice Modest Cohen says the calls are less than what was offered in 2018 when the industry boasted of a record year with over 338,000 passengers from 254 calls. However, it is a good start for the season.
We hope to see many more. I look at my schedule, or the schedules that I have in front of me, so that from the 12th of November, we'll be having quite a number of calls. Right until the end of April, there are significant calls in all of those months. And in May 22nd, we have the last scheduled one. And so there are just over 200 calls scheduled to come into the country. It's a bit under what we're used to, but coming out of a COVID time, it's a good start for us.
Cruise passengers, vendors, tour operators, and others working within the industry must be fully vaccinated, and there must be a total compliance with social distancing and sanitizing protocols. Chairman of the GTA, Barry Collimo, says the Ministry of Tourism and GTA officials are currently working with vendors at the market to secure buy-in and compliance.
We are actively looking at that. Minister was there just yesterday. I was there on Sunday. For the people who can do business, we want to find a way for them to do business. It doesn't make sense to keep yes, we have to be cognizant of the fact that there are regulations and so on, but for the people who have gotten vaccinated and who are compliant, we are going to try to find a way for them to be able to conduct their business. And we're going to work with the others to try to see if we can get them to compliance as quickly as possible.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break. Welcome back. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Kevin Andel, says the ministry is using the limitations presented by COVID-19 to create new opportunities for schools and students to participate in this year's Child Month celebrations. P.S. Andel says given these limitations, the ministry has engaged schools and churches to find creative ways to ensure that schools participate and the message is received by the general public. The month is traditionally observed in October. However, due to a spike in COVID-19 cases, the events were rescheduled to November.
The schools, there will be school-led activities. So every school would examine their unique situation and design activities for their children, their students to participate. For instance, there is one school who decided that it would be a project, a class project, that the children or the students would purchase the burnt orange t-shirts and do the unique design. And that design will be displayed, and the child with the most unique design and would win a prize. These are the creative ways that the schools are engaging the children during this time. We also have the churches on board, and as of Saturday and Sunday, the 13th and the 14th, we'll be having Child Sabbath and Child Sunday. And at those services, a message written by Ryan Chow Chong would be read. That's the top CPA performer. We're also having other activities that are online for the children and parents. I can say that we had one activity with Mr. Francis Urias Peters dealing with folklore and tradition. And we had over 300 children joining in, and it was such a blast.
This year's celebration will be held under the theme Children's Care and Education Matter. Let children grow, glow, and flourish. The permanent secretary says the theme focuses on the importance of quality education and care for children while promoting their health and safety during this period.
The theme in itself, Children's Care and Education Matters, stem from the whole aspect of the challenges that children are faced with due to COVID-19. There have been reports of increase in neglect, abuse, child abuse, and so forth among children because of the pandemic and its associated activities. That is why the ministry chose this theme, and the committee, the Child Months Committee, believe that we need to focus on child's care, children's care, and education. There are some children, vulnerable children, that are missing out a lot on their education because of the lack of face-to-face and so forth and so on. And we are focusing on so that people, to bring to the fore, that citizens would understand that we need to let our children grow. And when we say grow here, we say quality education, so that they can grow in their intellect, they can grow in their capacity later on to earn and to be part of society.
Finally, in the news, newly appointed ambassador of the European Union to Grenada, Malgorzata Vasilevska, has promised that during her tenure, priority will be given to issues like climate change. She was at the time presenting her credentials virtually to Governor General Her Excellency Dame Cécile La Grenade. The ambassador also committed to strengthening the bilateral relationship with a focus on the health sector.
I am glad to confirm that Grenada will continue to benefit from EU funding in the health sector. The Pan American Health Organization, through a 500,000 grant approved by the government of Grenada, will be providing technical assistance aiming to strengthen national pharmaceutical supply chain management, improving operational capacities for health emergency risk management and response, and providing technical cooperation to minimize disruptions in the delivery of essential health services in the country. Beyond the development cooperation, Grenada and the European Union remain bound by shared goals and common values.
Governor General Her Excellency Dame Cécile La Grenade congratulated the ambassador and expressed her willingness to continue partnering with the European Union.
The EU countries continues to be Grenada's largest aid partner for development. In addition, citizens of Grenada have been afforded visa-free travel to any of the Schengen area countries for a stay of up to 90 days. This has aided us by reducing the cost of obtaining these visas, as well as the time involved in doing so. On behalf of the government and people of Grenada, I wish to express my gratitude to the European Union for the invaluable assistance rendered to our country and region over the past more than 40 years. Your Excellency, Grenada is happy to welcome you, and we look forward to the further strengthening of the relations between our country, Barbados, and the rest of the OECS and the European Union. Your Excellency, I congratulate you, and I look forward to working with you.
That story has brought us to the end of the National Report for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Recapping the top story, government to remove 48-hour quarantine for fully vaccinated individuals entering the country. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I'm Christian Mitchell saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Thank you very much, Christian, and the rest of the GIS News team. And what we have for you now is the weather. And as we have here from the Met Office, the weather is expected to be generally fair, increasing in cloudiness by morning. Now, the minimum temperature for tonight, 23.5 degrees Celsius, so the temperatures are dropping. Winds northeasterly to easterly at 12 to 22 miles per hour, and seas are slight to moderate with waves 2 to 4 feet in open waters. And for Wednesday, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy, breezy and hazy with brief light showers improving overnight. The max temperature for tomorrow, 30 degrees Celsius, minimum 23.5 degrees Celsius. Winds northeasterly to easterly at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate with waves 2 to 4 feet in open waters. And we can expect tides to be high at 9 a.m. and low at 5 p.m. Sunset 5:41 and sun is expected to rise in the morning at 6:03. So that's it, folks. Have a good one. Before we go, we want to say hello to Cynthia, Charmaine, Zaka, Avril, Joyous, Kireen and Shireen, and Avril. Well, I said Avril. I think I said Avril, right? That Desiree and Ventress and Pearl and Brenda. Thank you for watching as well as the folks on YouTube. Blessings to you as well, all right? Cindy and Celine, always on the program. Blessings to you as well. And we also have, all the usual suspects like Ansha and Yvonne and Vicky are also with us tonight. So blessings to you. Angel is with us as well, always on the program. Big up to yourself, Angel. All right, one of the loyal viewers of the program. Then Michelle and Wendy Ann and I just said Angel. All right, so guys, you know what? Blessings, and I hope that you'll have a good night tonight. Rest well, and we come back tomorrow, God's willing, on the program. Take care. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say, Ja! No. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Those of you who did not hear your name, well, no love lost. We catch up again tomorrow, God's willing. Take care.